The Congress of South African Trade Unions wants all those that have stolen from Eskom to be put behind bars. Not only that, but have their assets attached as well. Now, the Labour Federation briefed Parliament's Public Enterprises Committee yesterday on its proposals. The union's parliamentary coordinator, Matthew Parks, talks to us now from our Cape Town studios. Mr. Parks, thank you very much for your time. Firstly, can I start with the question, how far advanced are discussions at NEDLEC in trying to find an agreement on how to proceed on the Eskom debt?
Good morning. Yes, no, the negotiations at NEDLEC are going very well. We've received fantastic responses from our counterparts in other trade union federations, in business and government and community. We're making significant progress, and we think in the next few weeks we should have been able to finalize the agreement. But look, even once we finalize the agreement and it's signed and so on, it'll take significant detailed technical work on the different aspects of it afterwards. So it's not going to be an immediate overnight magic wand. It'll take hard work. But we're quite inspired by the constructive spirit that other social partners have approached us.
Yeah.
And even by the massive public support we've received from investment funds and workers and pensioners has been very motivating. So we're quite optimistic. We're pleased with the progress we made in a very short space of time.
How soon do you envisage approaching the PIC, therefore?
Look, that'll take some time, and the PIC has got its own fiduciary duties. It has to go through its own assessment. It needs to see the investment plan and so on. That can take easily up to 6 months. When we did the Edcon deal last year, which was a much smaller deal, but also involved a very stressed company and a turnaround plan and a social compact, that took about 6 months. I think the Eskom deal will take a similar amount of time, but that's why we're keen to get things moving now, because we don't have too much time and we need to get cracking.
Yeah.
But look, the PIC has got its own investment requirements, and those won't be interfered with. They must be respected. It will take some time. Our plan isn't just one intervention. It's about a 35-point intervention. Some of it is immediate, some of it is short, others are medium, and others are long-term interventions. But we must get moving quite soon.
Here's a question for you then, Matthew Parks. The President speaking very much in line with what you are saying in favor of these pension funds possibly being used to try and pay off some of Eskom's debt. The question I have for you, because this is what he said on Tuesday, that number one, Eskom will be split into 3 components, and secondly, that the sale of old power stations of Eskom being taken into the hands of private investors who've, by the way, shown lots of interest. Are you in favor of all of these proposals by the President?
No, look, I mean, part of our conditions and our key principles are that Eskom must remain a state-owned entity. It must not be privatized. That includes its generation capacity, and that workers must not be retrenched. It's a bit, we've asked the presidency, when we heard those comments on Tuesday, for clarity, because you recall the president had said late last year when Treasury had made that proposal, the president actually dismissed it at that time by saying who would want to buy old power stations reaching the end of their lifespan. So we're not sure what exactly he meant. We are very doubtful that anybody would want to buy an old power station. But look, in principle, as Cosatu, we would not support privatizing any component of Eskom.
What would the plan be then for these old power stations which are due to be decommissioned anyway? Because the President says if there is so much interest from the private sector that they take over these, clearly they're going to make them work again, and what it will do is that it'll make sure that workers keep their jobs, and in particular the towns where these power stations are located, those towns will also be fine economically.
Sure. No, that's quite a critical question, Clolly, for 3 points. One, many power stations are reaching the end of the lifespan in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So there's a need to invest in new generation capacity for Eskom, so you don't have a generation shortfall. We've also proposed in our intervention plan that we investigate how can some power stations' lifespan be expanded rather, because, as you said, communities and workers and their families depend upon that. But equally, there are some power stations which you know are so old, they're 70 years old, they cannot be extended any longer. So for those ones, we've asked that alternative economic opportunities be looked at, whether it's converting them to gas energy or even making them into factories to produce solar panels. So we need to have some kind of economic intervention so that you don't throw any workers, the families or the communities under bus as you go through a just transition.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew Parks. He is Cosatu's parliamentary officer.